Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 16th of April, 2023. Huge. So, this week has been a strange week as far as the temperature has been concerned. It's been up and down. Today it's been quite nice. The temperature's actually quite warm, but the sun's not really out. So my choices, as always, will reflect the kind of weather that I've been having to deal with. And we will start at the beginning. And on Monday, I wore something I consider to be a bit of an amber fougere powdery lavender thing. And this is a Troisième Homme de Caron by Caron. This is in that kind of amber fougere thing that's been going on, that I've been having recently. It's aromatic, it's a little bit earthy, a little bit powdery. There's a bit of lemon at the top. It's a Malfi lemon though, and a Malfi lemon for me is always a little bit creamier than, like, it's got the sting taken out of it, of like, as opposed to like a bitter lemon, you know. A little bit of spice, a little bit of floral mid, you know. It's very of its time, mid-80s, but it's very classy as well. It was made by Françoise Caron. I believe she was married to Pierre Bourdon around this sort of time, you know. Came out the same year as I did, in 1985. Mainly get lemon, creamy lavender, very sort of, gets a little bit greener in the base with the vetiver and the moss. It's a good fragrance, I like it, but I'm not crazy about it. You know, very clean. Nice though, I like it. I must admit, I do like it. This is like a vintage bottle. I think this is the original packaging. I want to say this is a 90s version. So I got it from a Anoush. So it smells amazing in the air. Very classy. Little bit of that bergamot lemon thing. You get more at the top. So that is what I wore on Monday. On Tuesday, I wore Bois d'Argent, and I could not be bothered to go and get the big bottle out. So here is my decant, my wee decant, my small decant. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. The Troisième Homme is very, very powdery. So powdery it makes you kind of feel like you've got dryness in your mouth. This kind of follows on from the theme of Troisième Homme in that it's got this creamy, rounded, soft, gentle, masculine kind of thing. It's more resinous in the way that it's constructed, though. It's more kind of like, it's got that irisy, myrrhy, honey kind of, instead of being powdery, it's more creamy, it's more sort of resinous, it's thick, it's rich. It's very nice. It's a brilliant fragrance made by Annick Monardo. Somebody's at the door. So if you haven't smelled this, I'd be very surprised, but it's an absolutely brilliant fragrance. One of the best designer privé releases of the last, well, I mean, ever, really, because those designer privés have only really been around for about 20 years, haven't they? So this is that, under the watchful eye of Heidi Slimane, who has released a lot of fragrances like that for Celine. But to me, it's got something of the Dior Homme vibe as well. But this obviously came before Dior Homme. Anyway, we'll move on to Wednesday. Wednesday, I wore something completely different. And this is, again, in one of my decant bottles, Iquitos. I had to put this in here because my bottle of this, the sprayer, was fucked. So I just decanted it in here. And thank God I did. This is brilliant. It was a submission for a Dior fragrance in the mid-80s, and it was not chosen, and I can't remember which fragrance that it was submitted for. I never can. But Alain Delon smelled this as a submission for one of the fragrances he wanted to release, and here we are. This is a big musky, floral, aldehydic, civet, jasmine, leather. It's amazing. There's so much going on in this fragrance. This is kind of like the fragrance that, it's the exception that proves the rule. I don't really like fragrances like this, but I absolutely love this one. This is amazing. It's so well made. It smells so good. Completely unisex, really, but it was released for men in 1987. The perfumer is Gerard Anthony, who is, I don't think, ever made a fragrance that I didn't really like, maybe with the exception of Crystal Ball, which I'm not a massive fan of, to be honest. Sold my bottles off. It's got fucking fruity notes, according to Fragrantica at the top, which is just bollocks. I fucking hate that. But for me, I do get this kind of fruity, green, kind of sweet nectar thing at the top, you know, like juicy, fruity kind of thing. But then you get, it's balanced brilliantly with like aldehydes, rose, jasmine, a little bit of iris, bit of ginger. And then the base, it's obviously got a massive, massive dose of civet, oak moss, maybe some castoreum, I want to say, like a leathery kind of thing, sandalwood, musk, big musk for me as well. It's brilliant. I should really review this at some point soon. Maybe I'll do that this week, because I feel like I understand the fragrance now. Anyway, from that I wore something completely different on Thursday. And this is L'Artisan Parfumier L'Eau d'Ambre. Why have I got an amber fragrance for spring and summer? Well, I thought this would be a very good opportunity to try a fragrance like that. You know? Like an amber for spring and summer. So I am going to try this out. I'm going to utilize it. See how it reacts. And on Thursday, it was busted out. It is made by Karine Dubreuil Sereni in 1993. It's got a massive dose of labdanum in it, and I'm not a big fan of labdanum when it's the main star of the show. But it's used extremely well here. It has vanilla, some patchouli. It sticks about all day. It's not overly heavy. It's not too vanillic. It's not too much of anything, although there are big doses going on in here. It's balanced fantastically. Not sure I'm going to be able to use this for much longer in these seasons. I may have made a mistake with this as far as putting it in the spring and summer rotation. It does just seem a little bit too heavy for that. Awesome bottles though. I love these bottles. I don't know why they changed them to the new ones. I just think that these are fantastic. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. But yes, I'm happy, and since we have cold days in the spring and summer, I'm going to keep that available. But in future, I think it might just go into the autumn and winter rotation. And one fragrance that I can tell you does not belong in the autumn and winter fragrance rotation is my next one. On Friday, I wore Molto Smalto, obviously by Francesco Smalto, from 1993. Big lavender shaving foam kind of vibe. Very typical kind of fougere thing going on. It's got lavender, rosemary, sandalwood. I get a bit of patchouli from it, to be honest. I think it's very patchouli. Sort of, it's a very particular type of patchouli. It's not like a rich, deep, thick, resinous patchouli. It's more of like a light ambery, sort of like a light ambery, vanillic kind of patchouli. Don't overpay for this. I see this going for silly money on the second-hand market. It's not worth that. It's a good designer from 1993. It's good as far as being like a shaving foam kind of fragrance, you know, that kind of fresh classic. It's not too powdery. The lavender doesn't get silly. It's very smooth, and I really like it for that. But yes, I like this, and I wore it on Friday. Yesterday, Saturday, I wore something completely different. Completely different, because sometimes you just want to do that. And this is an ambery incense perfume, and I'm sure you can already tell what it is. This is Lavs by Filippo Sorcinelli. Black pepper, which can make you sneeze at the top of the fragrance, a Popinax, and this massive, massive elemi note. Absolutely love the elemi note in this. I also get big clove. You know, it's very liturgical. It's very religious smelling, this kind of thing. It's got that churchy. The whole house has got that kind of vibe about it. It's a lovely aesthetic. It's a good. If you're into incense fragrances, you've got to smell this line. It's fantastic. It's very resinous. It's got labdanum in there as well. But yeah, I really love this stuff. I really love it. Like, I'll wear this for a long time. It's quality. I'd be very surprised if Filippo Sorcinelli was actually the perfumer, but it doesn't identify the perfumer. I don't know that he claims to be the perfumer, but the perfumer isn't credited, you know. And last but not least, my fragrance of the day. It was bright, it was sunny, but it wasn't too warm this morning, so today I decided to wear one of my favourites, Luciano Pavarotti. The size of the dent in that bottle. Massive. Huge. That is a particularly fat bottle. A particularly fat dent in a fat bottle of perfume. Like, that's 125ml and I've nearly used it. You know, I've got about 20-25ml left in there. There's a good chance that could be used this summer. It is an ambery patchouli fragrance, but it's got this kind of fresh, beautiful start. It smells bright and happy to me, this fragrance. It's got a foodie kind of vibe to it, with the honey, like it's white honey and vanilla tonka. Again, there's clove or clover in this. Lemon verbena at the top, petitgrain. Amalfi lemon. Patchouli is one of the main notes. The honey and the patchouli in this is stunning. It's got a lovely iris vibe too. I should really review this as well. You know, this is one of my favourite fragrances. I'm not trying to say it's one of the best fragrances, but it is one of my favourites. I can't hate, and I never will hate. And I'm glad I've got plenty bottles of it so that I will never run out. It's starting to warm up a bit, so it gets a little bit more difficult to wear this when it gets into the highest of high heat. But it is a very happy, fun, all-round fragrance. You could probably wear this whenever you want, but I like to wear it in the spring and summer because of the fact that it's such a happy, nice perfume, you know? And yes, that is the end. This has been my fragrance rotation for the past week. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon.